Are you losing money in bonds? Today we're going to discuss what retirees should know about this very important investment to make sure your money lasts through retirement. Stay tuned. Hey there, it's Alex and Anthony from One Degree Advisors. If you're new here, we are certified financial planners that help folks with all things tax, retirement, and investment related. Anthony, a lot of people, especially retirees, they might be opening up their statements or looking at their accounts online, and a specific part of their portfolio, their bonds, have been going down. Depending on the type of bonds you own, could be down quite a bit this year. And I think it's a shock for a lot of people because for so long, bonds have been seen as this pretty conservative investment class that provides relatively consistent returns and they don't fluctuate a lot. And so far this year, that's proving to be not the case.
Yeah, retirees are looking for income, and when bonds are going down in value, then it becomes against the objective here. So let's take a look at this long-term chart. If you go back to 1980, we were at the peak of interest rates, and you see this downward trend right here. And then at the very end here is where we're at today, and that's what's causing problems.
Now that this little pickup here in the interest rates, that's what we're talking about. But let's talk about why this happens, right? Why is it that when interest rates increase, why is it that bond prices go down quite a bit?
Yeah, bonds and interest rates are inversely related. It's kind of this teeter-totter effect here. As interest rates go up, then prices fall. And that's what we're seeing today. But the previous 40 years from really like before the last two was the opposite. We had this decades-long stretch of yields coming down and prices were rising, and so it was subsidizing bond returns.
So I think that a lot of people are wondering, like, do I still own bonds, right? Are they still worth investing in? Like, where do we go from here? What does a retiree do? Because bonds have really been the bedrock for a lot of retirees, creating consistent income. And I think it has a lot of people wondering, like, is it even still worth owning? Because, again, when we go back and we look at that long-term chart, sometimes in our mind's eye, we're going, okay, this is just going to keep going up like a rocket ship.
Right.
So is it still worth owning?
Yeah, and it may be we're in a stretch of interest rates continuing to increase for a while, and that is going to put downward pressure on bonds. It's hard to know. But here's the good news for bond investors is that as interest rates have come up to somewhat normalized levels, people will argue that, is the expected return on your bonds has also increased. So even though we've experienced some pain, the good news is that the expected returns on bonds have increased somewhat.
Can you explain a little bit what that means, expected return on your bonds?
Yeah, as those interest rates have come back up, as we're buying new bonds here, the interest rate, the income that we're getting off those bonds is now at a higher level. And so that's going to help returns theoretically as we go forward here.
And the types of bonds that you own is very important, especially going forward. So, for example, bonds that are longer term in maturity, let's say like a bond that will mature in 20 years, that's going to be much more sensitive to interest rate increases than, let's say, a shorter term bond of, maybe 3 or 5 years.
So people have different philosophies on bonds and how to invest. Some will go for the highest yield, meaning they'll try to invest in a low quality bond that pays them a really high interest rate. We tend to go the opposite way with that and say, if we're going to take risk in our investments, we want to get that from stocks and real estate and the equity type of investments. We want to be very conservative with bonds, be very short term, high quality, and then also manage risk in other ways besides bonds within the overall investment portfolio.
Yep. And now let us know what you think. Do you believe that bonds are a good investment going forward? Why or why not? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.